It's not much. It's not much of the day. It's not,
Match of the day's on for 20 minutes tonight. It must be a Liverpool supporter that's doing the editing of it. Just we could get a job out of this.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh my, that'll be good, Craig.
I know nothing about football either, so don't worry.
You know nothing about whiskey either, so it
doesn't seem to stop you, so you're all right.
I know. Who's this above me this week?
This is Michelle and Gareth from McAllister's Clancola, the guys who very generously last week provided us with samples. And because I hosted you, I've got a couple for me tonight. And we're going to talk about this one because this was very well received. Very well received. Michelle, Gareth, how are you guys? Are you well?
Good.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us on.
Oh, thank you for coming, and thank you very much for the samples. I know loads of people really loved them last week, and we will be talking about the mystery one.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And I don't know whether you're going to tell us exactly what's in it, but I promise. I told everybody I know nothing about what was in it or no idea.
No,
So we'll get to find out whether we
You were close. You were close.
Close, but no cigar. No. Justin had a fairly insightful view on it, didn't you, Justin?
He said he didn't like it.
I put him to sleep.
Put me to sleep. That's it. I thought it was very distinctive. It's one of the most distinctive whiskies we've ever tried in the past 3 years. Yes,
it was. It was absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. But yeah, now we are going to do a little bit of news, and we'll catch up with you after the news. And we shall not be making any more match of the day references, Justin. Okay, because it's very, very controversial over here. There's lots of people going nuts. Anybody in the US doesn't know what the story is. A guy tweeted something that doesn't seem to be all that bothersome, and the BBC, because it has to be impartial, said, "Oh, you can't tweet like this," and then they all fell out, and the whole place is going nuts talking about it. He's a football commentator. So, and he used to play football, and he always constantly refused to head the ball. Do you remember? So, I don't know. It's just nuts. Anyway,
talk to you in 15, 20 minutes. Here we go. Bye-bye, Michelle and Gareth. Stay there for us.
Later.
Right. What a week.
Now, what a week. Now, first story. We're going to go to Tennessee. And, there was a story that's been going about. Now, this isn't a revelation to anybody who knows very much about whiskey and whiskey maturation, that there is a whiskey fungus. Now, it's Bodonia companiensis, I think that's how you pronounce it. And what it does is it's a little fungus that eats ethanol out of the air. If you ever see a whiskey distillery or a whiskey maturation unit, I should say, it always looks as if it's covered in soot. So this is what this is. You know, it's actually a little fungus. Now, there was a recent lawsuit in Lincoln County, Tennessee, where Jack Daniels is. In case you don't know what Jack Daniels looks like, that's probably the most famous label in whiskey.
But this is natural and harmless, Marty, isn't it?
Yes, but here's the problem. Brown-Forman, who own Jack Daniels, have been stopped from building. They were doing some building work, and it's been halted because a judge on February the 24th ruled that they hadn't done the right procedure. Now, just to put it in context, Jack Daniels has 92 warehouses and 2 million barrels of whiskey, 2 million barrels of whiskey are there. Now, so I thought there's any health risks to the fungus, although I don't know how much research has ever been done on this, but you know, there's not. It's thought to be not toxic in any way. Now, Christy and Patrick Long, who own the manor at Shea Joe, spend $10,000 a year cleaning up their venue. Now, again,
hold on a minute here. Jack Daniels, that's small change to them. They can afford to fix that, no problem.
Well, the thing about it is they're not paying for it. It's actually these guys here that are paying to clean up their venue. Now, if you think about it, they live near Jack Daniels, which big tourist resort, big tourist attraction, I should say. So they probably benefit from it. So there's obviously a sort of balancing act here. But they've said that they're building one. They're building 20 new warehouses just within a mile of their property, which will increase the problem with it. So yeah, do you remember West Cork had a problem with this? They wanted to build a maturation unit in the countryside, and people kicked up and that got stopped because they said there's going to be too much traffic. You can't build these in residential areas, and obviously you can't build these in outside, too far outside the country, because you need access for fire brigades and so on. So yeah, it's a bit odd, But I see the whiskey novice or Jim saying that Blair Athol has a massive amount of it, and they don't actually have an awful lot of whiskey in stock. But yeah, if you ever get to Blair Athol, beautiful distillery, and in part it's highlighted because everything's all covered in this black soot.
Is that the environment around Blair Athol is conducive to the fungus growing, or is it just because they've been around for a long time?
The fungus is everywhere. And if you have casks, so the angel share coming off it, the fungus eats alcohol. So yeah, that's what it does. So there you go. So that's
they are pretty close to it. If you look at that map, they're very close to it indeed.
If you pull the map up, you see where the warehouses are, and they're building another 20 near them. So you can understand what their concern about the whole thing. So yeah, it's one of those things. It's an environmental problem that really shouldn't be that much of a problem. Shouldn't be that much of a problem if there's a bit more thought put into it. Brown Foreman, you're not short of any money. This is a wee company that does weddings and whatnot. So it'd be nice to see them actually just getting this sorted out, you know. All right.
Shall I do it or shall you do it?
You want to, don't you?
I can't whistle the theme to Remington Steele.
We're going to get banned again. Every time we do any music, Zuckerberg bans us. Anyway, Pierce Brosnan has been out and about round the country, and he was in Ballymena. Then he went to Carrickfergus.
Was he? Did I miss him in Carrickfergus today?
So surprisingly enough, he needed a drink after he went to Carrickfergus and decided he needed to get pissed to calm his soul. So he popped out to our friends down at the Crawley Distillery down in Donegal.
Oh, very nice.
Now, if you go on to their website, it shows him labeling up his own bottle, because they do a bottle labeling thing down there. So he does up his bottle and he went down to pay them a visit there. We have to get down and see these guys. We have to get pop head down at some point and go and see them.
I don't know when, but well.
I have no idea when, because we're getting busier and busier. But but it's nice that he popped down in there. Nice.
Yes, looking well. He is indeed.
He is looking well. He's looking pretty. Let's be honest, he was starting from a fairly high place anyway, Justin, you know.
I know. Yeah.
Good luck.
I know, Remington Steele, James Bond, you name it. There you go.
Now, we're going to go crowdfunding. I saw a couple of things. One's quite good, and the other one's, well, we'll talk about it in a minute. If you go to Nicknean are a cool little distillery in Scotland, and they're hoping to raise money for, Justin just brings up the page. They're hoping to raise money. Now, they've raised £3,540 already, and they are wanting to raise money for Client Earth, which is a charity that wants to use legal means to stop pollution and influence climate change, environmental issues, the best way of putting it. There's also money going to go to the victims of the earthquake in Turkey and Syria, and some money for the Morven Community Trust down in Oban. Now, if you wish to donate, it's basically a lottery, is what it is, and you have a chance to win some new release bottles from the little distillery. Now, it's a very sort of boutique distillery, and they try to be as environmentally friendly as possible. So, a nice little cause. Nice thing to be doing.
They're doing rather well with their fundraising, Marty, aren't they?
Yeah, good on them. And
not everybody is.
Now, let's skip along, shall we, to the next crowdfunder. This is a guy who wants to found the whiskey community. Now, the aim of this project is to unite whiskey lovers globally and grow a community in which whiskey lovers can communicate and collaborate.
Is that not what we do?
But hang on, we'll get that in a wee second. He wants to raise money to build a website, market products, create an interactive platform, host events, centralization of information, and facilitate facilities for custom whiskey themed projects to be made a reality. Now, he's wanting to raise £5,000, and you can buy 15, 30, £50, and 150. Now, if someone wants to give me £150, I will quite gladly sell them, give you Justin. For £300, I'll take them back. For what was the other bits? For £50, I'll sell you a pair of Justin's Versace Y fronts. For £30, there's about to be some crap line about here. I can send it over to you. And for a tenner, I'll send you a miniature of Proper 12, and we can raise vast fortunes. And I don't know, the Gary Lineker Appeal Fund. No, that's right. Gary makes quite enough money. It doesn't need an awful lot of money, Gary. No. But yeah, so he's not having a huge amount of success, this guy. This guy has raised the grand total of bugger all. He's looking at £5,000. So if anybody's wanting, he's giving away stuff. If you give him 150 quid, he's going to give you 2 glasses, a Glencairn cap, a t-shirt, doesn't specify what it is, access to a Telegram channel, and a private WhatsApp group. So what more could you ask for £150?
All right.
Good luck. Best of luck with that. So
here, if you like what we do, buy us a coffee.
If you like what we don't forget, I'm only joking, by the way. You don't get Justin. You can send 150 quid, and I promise you won't be inflicted with Justin. Only I have to suffer that.
Oh boy.
Now, the what you might call it, the budget's coming up soon, and now there's a bit of a thing. It's reckoned that the Chancellor Jeremy Hunt is going to push up alcohol. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Now it's been suggested that he might put it up in line with inflation, which, according to various reports, is either running at about 9% or 13%. But we'll say 10 for easy counting. 10% increase in the tax. Now, Mark Kent, Chief Executive of the Scottish Whisky Association, said that Scotch is already the most taxed alcoholic drink in the UK. A double-digit tax increase, which distillers face without action from the Chancellor, will put further pressure on an industry already weighed down by increased legislation like the deposit return scheme, high inflation, and rising costs. Now, if you don't know about the deposit return scheme, there's lots of information about it. It seems to be it
works perfectly in Germany and places like that, but they
can't
really get it off the ground here. I know.
Yeah, well, it's a thing in Scotland, and the drinks industry and so on are like, this is going to be a huge burden to them. Anyway, Graham Littlejohn, who's the spokesman for the Scotch Whisky Association, posted a few things on Twitter where he highlights that whisky taxes are the highest tax burden in the G7. 99% of distillers are locked out of tax breaks that the pubs get. Spirits only category are shut out of the energy bill relief scheme. There doesn't seem to be these problems when it's the French wine industry, the Californian wine industry.
Well, it seems to be that it's a big industry and they just are milking it for everything they can get out of it. That's what I think.
Well, it seems to, it's not. I can understand, okay, you pay tax as a luxury product and all that and so on and so forth, and they have to pay for all the money they spent at COVID. But, why make an industry that's a huge employer, mainly in rural areas too, that generates vast taxes and also exports, etc., etc. Why make it so difficult for them? Why is this even a threat that you're going to put, 10% sort of minimum increase in taxes on it? And yeah, I mean, I agree, but there's this idea that if you tax stuff that discourages people, what it always does is it encourages illegality. People start smuggling stuff in. Look at what happened with tobacco. Okay, a lot of people stop smoking, really because it's much better educated and it's not as socially acceptable. And most people don't want their kids smoking. It's one of the reasons I stopped. I was smoking 30 a day when I was actually a smoker. But yeah, but when it got beyond a certain point and I could afford to buy tobacco out of the shops, I just bought it off the guy out of the garage who was selling it, who smuggled it in. So I mean, it just this counterproductive.
This is over 17 years ago, so it's beyond the statute of limitations.
I don't mind telling you where I bought it. I don't give a shit. As you well know. No, I wouldn't drop them on it. But yeah, I mean, it's just that's all it does. Taxation, if it gets beyond a certain point, just promotes illegality, and that's it.
Bad move, but did it cost the wee one her job?
Well, I don't know. Who knows? Nicola's away, or she's going. To be fair, one thing I do like about Nicola Sturgeon is she's a very effective politician, a great debater, and she's stateswomanly, which there's very, very few people in politics, certainly in Britain, who sort of have any gravitas, and for that I do like it.
So was Hitler.
Well, that's a good point.
But that costs
controversial. Lineker when you need him. Aye, now this week saw International Women's Day, and loads of the distilleries brought out, celebrated their women who work there, women who own it, women who founded it, women who did all of that, and it was nice to see. I put together, there was loads of them, so I do apologise that we didn't put a whole host, but we have the magnificent Helen Mulholland at Lochgill, one of the best people on the planet. She really is. I just want to skip through, Justin. I'm not going to go through. There's just the Bent Distilling Company, and just go on through them all. I don't want to seem trivializing them because there was so many that I just picked.
We're on it.
The
Institute of Brewing is
Institute. And,
yep.
Amrit over in India, celebrating the women that work in the India. These are just the White Peak.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, it's Holyrood Distillery up in Edinburgh. Cotswolds over in England. So I try to be a sort of cover as many as possible. Whiskey Del Bac. They were founded by a woman as far as I remember. Bowan down there shows you the Coonies down there along with the doggy. Cadenheads, they celebrated the women mainly who do blending and stuff for them as well. Again, Frey Ranch, Iron Root,
yeah,
the Blackwater, the lovely guys down at the Blackwater down in Waterford, Powers Court. The festival we're going over to in a couple of weeks' time.
We're talking to Serena next week.
Well, I think hopefully we're talking to Serena next week, and we'll get a chat to her. Hang on, go back. Can't skip past Moira. Down at our good friends down at Slave League. And then, last but not least, is the rather wonderful Fiona down at Short Cross. Now, I know I could have put in Sarah from McConnell's and Lauren from from Bushmills and the girls down at Dunville's and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, it was just nice to see them. There's a video. I've told Justin just to put the link in. It's about Macallan. Obviously, Macallan are making vast fortunes of money, but there's a video about Nettie Harbison, who took over Macallan back in the 1920s, and it's about 7.5 minutes long. It's like an episode of Downton Abbey. So we're not going to play it, but it's there if you want to hook up to it. And it's nice. It's very well done. Surprisingly enough, Macallan probably hired Steven Spielberg to do direct. Got enough money to do it these days. But yeah, but it's nice to see the women in the whole industry being highlighted, because I love so much about the whiskey industry. The one thing that always pisses me off, and thankfully you don't get to see it very often these days, is the macho wanker. Do you know the guy who, I'm a whiskey drinker, what would a woman know about whiskey? And you get them all. You used to get more and more of them all the time years ago. Thankfully, most of them are fucked off out of the place. But yeah, they just annoy the hell out of me. So nice to see all the women being highlighted. And I do apologise if anybody was left out. Michelle, who's coming on, don't worry, you're getting a plug tonight. But yeah, there were so many posts. I thought it was just a nice sort of.
And we do have a special woman in whiskey, which is about 3 years old now. And over here, at the end of the show, when you go to watch it on YouTube, it will appear. So you'll be able to watch it. So remember, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, we're on DLive, we're on Twitch, we're on Telegram, we're on Twitter, and we're going to be on other platforms too, but they haven't given us access yet because Instagram's bringing Instagram Live back, and so is TikTok. And a friend of mine's got over 1 million views on TikTok in like a week, so you never know.
Aye. It's because the communists must want them. The Chinese government want them for something.
They probably want them. So we have one more story. We have
one more quick story, because this week's Cheltenham week, and I have to say this. I have to put this up. The Craft Irish Whiskey Company. I know a little bit controversial. There's people always tell me bits and pieces. I don't know. Anyway, they are sponsoring the awards for the owner, trainer, jockey, and the Presbytery Cup, which is the cup for who has the most winners, either England or Ireland, which is always a big contention. Now, I always tell American tourists whenever they come over, the official sport of Ireland is actually handball, as far as I'm aware. But the unofficial sport of Ireland's horse racing. Horse racing's huge industry. The pubs will be packed. The civil service up around my part of the world, you'll get nothing done in the civil service this week because they'll all be in the pub watching Cheltenham. It's huge. It's a huge thing. And the fact that an Irish whiskey company, if you like, is sponsoring it's a huge deal. And that's not the first time they've done it. So, yeah, it's the Presbytery Cup, Ireland versus England. England, after today's performance in the rugby, I watched the fair whack of it. They got absolutely hammered 53-10. It was they went out in sympathy with Gary Lineker and bother showing up. Oh. So yes, that's the week in whiskey, and don't forget to let us know what you think.
There's an Irishism. A couple of people I know go to Spain every year to watch Cheltenham.
I know loads of people that go every year.
And then of course Whiskey Novice, he loves handball, can't get enough Lycra.
Oh, my handball. Yes. But I think it is the official sport of Ireland. It's a bit like the national colour of Ireland is St. Patrick Blue. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so that is the news this week. Now,
did we do everything? We did everything. We did
everything. We did everything. And everything and more, Justin. Everything and more. Don't forget, the offer still stands. If you wish to send me £150, I will ship you, Justin. You can have the lend of him for 7 or 8 years.
So it's time for Michelle and Gareth.
Michelle and Gareth McAllister from the Ahascragh Distillery. How are we, guys? Are we all right?
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening. We're running through the news there fairly quick. We've always got quite a lot of stuff to talk about. But so do you guys. Exciting times.
bit of gutted though that we weren't on the women's international.
I knew you were coming on, Michelle, so that's why I didn't. That's why I specifically left you. You're going to get the bulk of the show to compensate for it.
Perfect.
But yeah, it was nice that all the distilleries, Rassie Distillery actually done a really nice time. I want to say that. What they've done is the longest serving woman at distillery will pick out a cask every year on International Women's Day. They'll bottle it the following year and call it Rassie Lassies.
Oh,
So
that's
yeah,
nice.
so nice of them. Good on them.
Yeah.
Good on them.
Well, a shout out to all the women. We have a very female-led team, so shout out to all our fantastic team. They're amazing, all the women there. And it's funny that you were saying there a minute ago about the the, how do I put this nicely, the men in the whiskey business, it's getting a bit better. I would beg to differ on that a lot of the time. If Gareth and myself are anywhere together, they will always address Gareth first.
Yeah.
Except you two. You can
thank you for that.
There's nothing annoys me more. Nothing annoys me more than the patronising prick. You know who they are, and they put up all the time. And it's,
it's definitely getting better, but it's still there. Still to camp it out a wee bit, especially as your slide showed there is a lot more women in the
loads of them
now. So
and
30
whenever you see
ago,
whenever you see the Institute of Brewers and Distillers posting up just the positions that the women are holding in the institute, these are people with a contribution and a voice in the industry, not the outside,
absolutely
guys like us. So they should have the respect and recognition that is deserving of the whole thing. Anyway.
It's a funny thing, but even women do that themselves. I used to work 30 years ago in a travel agency, which was mostly women, and I was the only man worked in it. And sales reps, women included, used to come in and start talking to me. I mean, I was only like half the age I am now, and they would talk
45
to me.
He was 45 then.
They would talk to me for 20 minutes, and then they would say, do you think you could stock that or do that? And I would go, well, you need to talk to the boss there. She's been the boss here for about 30 years, and what do you do? It's not a good opener, but it's just one of those things.
I thought you were going to say, Justin, they talked to you for 20 minutes and then realised you were absolutely mental. No, probably discovered that after two. Now, I'll get back to Tony Carr and Michelle about about what is going on down at Ahascragh and how you're doing and the plans. Now, I'm going to ask the question: what's your background? Is your background in spirits and drink, or where do you guys come from?
Probably since we were 18, we've been involved in spirits. Our backgrounds were, I'm a chemical engineer and a distiller as well. But my background has all been process and chemical industry. But the enthusiast, I'm passionate about whiskey for as long as all my life. We were living out in Asia, in Hong Kong, and we saw the huge opportunity out in Asia, in particular for good Irish spirits, whiskey, gin, and our careers kind of came to an end of a chapter 6 years ago, and we decided to, why don't we do something together? Michelle's passion is gin, mine is whiskey. Why don't we do something together, create a family business, and see where it takes us? So here we are, 5-6 years later.
And we're still together.
We're still together. It's been, but that's. I mean,
how it started.
That's how it started.
Yeah. You say you're a chemical.
That seems to be the experience of a lot of people that work in Asia or Africa and decide to come back to Ireland and start distilleries, because there's more than one distillery that we have talked to over the years that has that. I think even Sleeve Lake did that as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
They were actually also in Hong Kong too. We were in Hong Kong as well. So don't know what it is, but I mean, when you're over there in Asia, Hong Kong, Shanghai, I just got so sick and tired of being offered Scotch. No disrespect, I enjoy a lot of Scotch whiskey, and sometimes they'd call it an Irish Scotch, which really, really annoyed me. It was very hard to get Irish spirit over there. So, and it is the fastest growing, region for for brown liquors and in particular whiskey. So from a business point of view, it made sense. There's a good opportunity there. So that's how it started.
Now you came back home, I assume, and did you jump straight into the whiskey, or was there a transition period where you were debating what you were going to do?
Yeah,
straight in.
So yeah, phase one was always, we were actually going to stay out in Hong Kong, and phase one was to launch our brands in Asia, from Hong Kong, and then phase two was going to be a distillery, years later. COVID came along, and all our plans for launching out in Asia got shut down. I actually was back in Ireland for a week business, and I got stuck in the first lockdown. Couldn't get out of Ireland. Michelle, she was still in Hong Kong.
Wow, that would have been rough.
Yeah, it was.
Eventually, Michelle got home a few months later, and phase one, all our plan of launching the brands, everything just got shelved and it didn't make sense. So we started working on phase two, which was the distillery, and the designing, the planning, everything around the distillery became our lockdown project.
Yeah, so, people started during lockdown making bread and cooking biscuits. What we were doing at distillery.
Did you not make any banana bread at all? Either of the two,
We tasted it, ate a lot of banana bread, but it never made.
Joe Wick and all that kind of stuff. No. So right. So talk us through the timeline. You come home, you decide, right, we're going to do the plan, right, because of what's happened.
Yeah,
we're going to do the distillery plans first, but you need to get your brand out. You've got obviously your distilleries, I assume probably a year away or near enough, months away.
It's weeks away now. We're
weeks away.
Really questioning,
yeah.
We're distilling the gin in Ahascragh right now, but the whiskey be probably in end of April, May. The whiskey.
Oh wow! I thought it was further away. I thought it was further away.
Nearly finished. Need to come and visit us.
Nearly finished. We'd have to get down. Now, obviously you have your brand out, so you must have had a period of time where the distillery's being built. You had to concentrate on getting your brand and product to market, and your sourced spirit, which I am quite happily drinking as we speak. Thank you very much. So the process of that, how did you start on that, or where did you go to start that even?
Well, we had kind of been doing a lot of that while we were in Hong Kong. I was, I suppose, making the gin recipe. That took me 2 years to finally get it right. And I had been doing that while we were still living in Hong Kong. So that had kind of been always in the background. We were always playing around with different, we had bought a lot of source whiskey before we came back. So that had always been there in the background while we were still working in Hong Kong.
A lot of the market research, a lot of the branding was done while we were out in Hong Kong. So all that groundwork, and there's 2-3 years of just groundwork before you could launch anything anyway.
Yeah.
All that was done from Hong Kong.
Yeah.
But it was meant to be a phase one, phase two, but basically summer 2021, phase one and phase two came together. Everything got launched, including the groundbreaking for the distillery, and it's been like a very busy 2 years.
Because we had seen the distillery online while we were over in Hong Kong. I had been looking on the internet for, we definitely always wanted an old building. We never wanted to just build something in a field somewhere. It was always in our ethos to be eco-friendly and do a repurposed no building. And sure, look, in Ireland, there's so many beautiful.
There's no shortage of them in Ireland, to be fair.
So I had contacted the guy that had originally owned the old mill here in Ahascragh, and we kind of went back and forth for a while, and then sure, look, life took over. Our son was doing his last exams in school and whatever, and then we came back here for business sometime, and this would have been about 9 months after. And Gareth said, let's go and try and find that wee village called Ahascragh.
We'd never heard of Ahascragh before.
No.
It was the old mill that brought us there.
And we were like, I don't know if we can find it. Wow, but we did.
So you're not from the area at all. You've no connections to go.
You can probably tell from our accent. We're from Dublin, North Dublin.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But
at least you managed to get out of Dublin. Well done.
We've been living all around the world. We haven't lived much in Dublin.
No. But,
I'm going to say, if you're in Hong Kong, at least the houses would be a bit cheaper than they are in Dublin.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't. Yeah, I don't know. But when we saw the mill, we were like, "That's it.
It looks beautiful.
That's exactly
really
where we
does.
need to be." And it was the mill that called us, really.
That'll be the brand home, and
and
we live here now. We're actually calling in from our kitchen here in Ahascragh.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. So now the sourced spirit, you have a number of bottles out now.
Yeah.
From the entry blend all the way up to premium stuff. Are you, because you have a range now? Yeah. Are you going to project yourself as more of the premium end of the market, or do you see yourself having always having that selection of, your €40, £40 bottle all the way up to £300 bottles? Is that where you want to be?
We want something on the shelves for everybody, from price positioning point of view right through to, superb packaging for gifting, which is very, very important out in Asia. So full range on top shelf is what we want, and we're getting close to having now.
Yeah, I mean, I think you sort of have all the sectors all the way up. Just interesting, you mentioned Asia, obviously, with your connection there. And do you see the guys over there being? I'm trying to sort of articulate this, put it into where you design it more for that market because you know it, and you know that the guys over there, lots of very wealthy guys over there. Let's be honest. Do you see yourself sort of projecting towards that?
Yeah, that's been our goal, is to go east. That was our. I mean, when you look at the bottles and that, especially the gin bottle here, it's very, very much designed on an Asia, with Asia in mind. So that's the direction we would like to go.
And with whiskey, it's all about age statement out there. And if you take China, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Japan, it's a very gifting kind of segment we're focusing on. So packaging has to be excellent, very, very premium, and an age statement and a single malt would help.
Gareth, why are then some of the big brands forgoing proper packaging, even for premium products? Is it because they don't have marketers that know that that's what the Asian market demands, or are they that overwhelmed with the environment that they've decided to forgo the packaging?
I think because we're small, we are obviously segmenting our market, and we're particularly going after that gifting segment. Maybe the larger companies go after large different types of segments, and they need something that's broad that will carry all that. But if you take, say, our aged Clanculla 19-20-year-old single malts, the gift packaging has to be very, very good for that to get on the shelf. But we'd hope also our younger brand, our Oosh brand, will do well out there as well.
I think, though, for having lived out in Asia as well, they're a very specific market. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can't use certain colors over there. You can't have, they're very particular. They like to have an animal on the bottle or some sort of symbol like that. So they're quite funny like that, which is, unless you've been there and know it.
Yeah, I'm just whenever you say that, I'm just thinking: is this the bird? Yeah. Is that what is that? I assume that's part of the ethos. And what's that represent?
Yeah,
well, that's a golden eagle. If you look at the McAllister family crest, and our bird of prey is the golden eagle, it kind of looks like a crucified golden eagle like that. And if you look at it from afar, it actually looks like the Teelings logo. So we had a conversation with John, and basically they'd sue us if we used our logo. So we had to get someone an illustrator to kind of make it more contemporary. So it's our contemporary, modern look of our family crest.
Yeah. I think it looks really sharp. I think it looks really just very clean,
yeah,
and very, very nice. Very, I mean, it's very bird-like and suggestive. So
yeah.
I think it looks really, really cool.
Thank you.
Linda Cox has just asked.
Canadians always ask this. They're desperate for good whiskey in Canada because they're used to Crown Royal Peach.
What did she say?
Yeah, we're actually we're I think of 2 distributors now in Canada. Sean, who's our head of sales and guy, is actually out there in New York at a couple of whiskey festivals this week, and is it next week?
Yeah, he's off to
Canada, to Ottawa.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're beginning to really push, our brands in Canada now.
Yeah.
Excellent. Hey, Linda,
look out for us.
You're all right. Look out for it.
Linda,
Don't let us down, Linda. You've asked the question. If you see it now, you have to buy bottles.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the deal, Linda. That's the deal. Now, you sent out the measures last week, the samples, and they're very different. There's not like I wouldn't say there's necessarily a sort of signature style. They're very different in flavor and taste. Is that by design or accident? Is that something you've set out to? I want that kind of flavor, and I want a different one than that, higher quality.
Yeah, it's purposely done. It depends on the mood and the moon, but no, joking.
There's a long list of failures, though. The blending part is something that I really enjoy. So we're using source liquid, and we're trying to do things with it because other people have the same liquid. So we're finishing it differently, sometimes different to others. So the Clan Colour range at the moment, from 7 years up, is all different limited expressions and different finishes. Okay. Whereas the Oosh brand is it's a 3 to 5 year old blend, and the Oosh, and that will be consistent and will be the same. That's the true blend. But all the liquid eventually will flow from Ahascragh Distillery. All that liquid will flow into these brands eventually.
Yeah. Now explain Clan Colour. Explain.
Well, background. That poster behind you is a very famous poster. I have that also framed in my office. If you look closely at that bottle, it says Clan Colour.
It does.
So Clan Colour was a very successful brand in the 1800s. And it was one thing always for us, for me, over the last 20, 30 years, was to eventually get to a point where we could revive and bring Clan Colour back. And we, successfully did that a couple of years ago. The Clan Colour story is very interesting. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's about 3 brothers, the Colour brothers, and they ruled and conquered all Ireland and parts of Scotland in the 4th century. So it's going back a bit.
The old kingdom of Dalriada or Dalriada.
Yeah.
I'm in Glenarm. I am in Dalriada as we speak.
Oh, yeah. And there was so these were true Gaels. This is before Anglo-Saxons, before the Vikings. And they had a kind of a law back then called the Gaish law that no one could slay or kill a sitting High King of Ireland. But Oosh, the eldest brother, this guy, that's a picture of him. He killed his uncle to become the High King of Ireland. And the curse goes that if you do that, you and all your descendants would never ever become High King of Ireland again. There's a lot of stuff on it, on Wikipedia and all that. So after 3 or 4 years, he went into exile with his brothers. He lost the throne. He tried to regain it, never did successfully. But all the descendants from those 3 brothers are part of the Clan Colour. That's what it means. And a lot of Irish names and Scottish names are part of Clan Colour. And McCartney could be part of Clan Colour. We should look that up. You don't try and deny it if you can. Don't. You can actually get a DNA test to see if you're part of Clan Colour.
Justin's descendant from aliens and Martians.
Alpha Centauri.
It's a bit High King of Ireland about Justin, all right.
So basically, what you're saying is it isn't England's fault.
It's
sorry, I couldn't resist that one.
The curse did come true because no member of the Glencullen ever became the High King of Ireland again. So it did come through. But you should look it up.
Him back to life.
We brought back Glencullen. And then, Oosh is our young blend, and we named it after Culla Oosh, who was the eldest brother, and he was the High King of Ireland for that short period of time. So it's a good old Irish mythic story. But that's the connection then with the poster behind you.
For anyone who's not sure, this is McAllister's Ballymena. I'm a Ballymena man, born and bred all the time. And Glencullen was a brand of theirs. And your surname's McAllister.
Yeah.
Are you any relation? Are you relations to these guys?
We're the Dublin branch. They
Dublin branch.
They were in Tullyglass in Ballymena.
They were in Tullyglass out with her Gus McConville.
Yes.
I know Gus very well. Lovely. One of the best guys.
If you visit there, we've been there a few times. If you visit there, you'll see, and Gus has a lot of the old McAllister memorabilia on display.
He does.
Yeah.
I shall we say, pervade some of the stuff that he has in there. I got him and took it out to him. I know Gus. I haven't seen him since before COVID. Everything seems to be years apart now because COVID sort of killed everything. But I must go and see him because he's he is an absolutely wonderful fella. Really, really nice guy. But the McAllister Lounge is in Tullyglass House Hotel in Ballymena. And if you're ever going to the
Carvery's great, the Carvery's fantastic.
Food. It's always interesting.
Plug for Gus.
But yes, he's a super guy. And good plug for Ballymena. I'm, as I say, Ballymena man through and through. Absolutely. I live in Glenarm now because I've retired to the seaside, shall we say. But yeah, it's beautiful down here. Now, you sent out the samples last week, and pretty much everybody raved about pretty much all of them. But there was one in particular that popped up, and it's the mystery bottle. Now, I'm going to have to declare that I have no idea what's in this. I have no idea. That's superb. Everybody, the whiskey novice, unfortunately, he couldn't join us last week because there was a family thing. But he sent out to me his tasting notes on it, and he thought this was gorgeous, and as did everybody else.
Can he share it with us, because we haven't put ours together yet?
Well, give us a clue. Now, I think, tell me if I'm wrong, that it's a minimum of 12-year-old. Now, if you don't want to tell us, just say now.
No problem, I'll tell you.
It's a minimum of 12-year-old. It's bourbon and PX. Am I right or wrong?
It's 13 years old, so you're very close. Yeah.
Get in. Yes.
There is a sherry finish, but it's Oloroso.
Bollocks. Justin, you have to take over.
Close.
I'm still here.
I would have swore it was PX. It's beautifully balanced. I mean, that's a really, really good whiskey.
Thank you.
A really good whiskey.
Good. I enjoyed it.
So it's 13-year-old, and see, the whiskey novice, he thought it was PX too. So we're Jim, we need to retire. But Senator P45 to Billy Jack.
We'll say nothing. We'll tell nobody. You're all right.
Like PX. We have a 20-year-old single malt finished in PX. If you want, I'll send you a sample of that.
Now, Justin, you bear witness to this.
No, everybody is now.
Well, no, send me as many samples as you like, because I mean that's superb quality stuff. When can we expect this? When's this going to be hitting the shelves?
It's probably still a couple of months away. As I said, we're just going through the marketing stuff and the tasting notes and all that now. But 2 to 3 months. No,
well, I think pretty much everybody. I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think everybody thought this was the highlight of the show. What price point's this going to be?
That in euros, that'll be around 65 to 70. Yeah.
Sorry, say that again. A 65 euro, 13-year-old whiskey.
Yeah, we're giving it
Irish whiskey of that quality for 65 euro.
65 to 70.
We don't control the end price, but that's what we'd recommend.
And it's right. There's a couple of other things I need to just clarify here. This isn't going to be like a single batch 200 bottles of this. This is on general release. You're going to have this going forward.
Well, obviously it's done in batches, but it will be a stable kind of finish in the Clancollar range, but it will be done in batches. So like this batch, when it's sold out, it's sold out, but there'll be another one then next year, but it'll always be a 13-year-old done like this. So.
Right, there has to be right now. I understand. I don't buy, but Irish whiskey at 13 years of age is a certain price, and most people aren't putting out quality stuff like that at that price. How are you doing that? How are you doing that? I don't need to know your secrets, but
selling our soul. That's how we're doing it.
We're building a distillery. We have to sell the stock as well.
Is that a blend?
It is a blend. It's 95% grain, 5% malt. So that's the answer to your question, probably.
It's very, very distinctive. Very distinctive.
That's 95% grain.
Yeah. 46%.
I am actually shocked by that. I didn't expect that. I'm sort of a bit lost with that, because that is fabulous, and for someone to tell me that that's pretty much a single 95% grain whiskey is that's a testament to how good that really is. Honestly, that tastes like if you'd have told me that was a 15-year-old single malt, I'd have said, yeah, fair enough. That's how good that is. Well done.
Very much.
Yeah, but the malt part is quite old. It's older than 13, so that helps.
Yeah. I put it like this: Jim's as shocked as I am.
Yeah. What?
I mean, I can understand. I knew there was something. Whenever you say that that's coming out at €60 a bottle, there had to be something. That is, I'll tell you, everybody watching this show now, get yourselves a bottle of that. I promise you now, you will not be disappointed. You will not be disappointed.
Fine.
That's super, and well done.
Thanks very
much. I have to do the standard whiskey pose. This is the whiskey pose that lots of people do. That's a superb drink. Superb drink.
But you liked the others as well, didn't you?
Oh, the others. I did a whiskey tasting in the Ghost on in Ballymena a few weeks ago when we did this as the 7-year-old. People loved it. I mean, they really did, and it was a great night. It was all Ballymena guys, and I told them sort of the history of McAllister's and so on, and they loved it. They thought it was superb.
That's good.
Yeah, the 7-year-old was a real hit.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, there's more and more people discovering different aspects to all of this, and if they can make any sort of connection with it, it's normally something that they can hang their hat on.
Yeah.
Especially if something that belongs to them. And that's one of the things whiskey does that very, very few other things can. Okay, champagne. I don't know the people of Champagne in France, do they ever hang their hat and say this belongs to us kind of thing?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's such an international product. Russian vodka. Or are you allowed to, I don't know whether I'm allowed.
No.
Zuckerberg, am I allowed to mention Russia in case I get lanickered?
No.
I don't know. But I mean, whenever it's whiskey, people have a real sort of attraction and affinity and a love for that sort of sense of place. And whenever they can hang their hat on it, it went down really, really well in Ballymena. It really did.
Good. That's good to hear. Because sometimes when we do all the whiskey and the gin to our taste. If we like it, that's the standard we go. If this is nice to us, if we could imagine spending the money on it or whatever, then that's okay with us. So when it goes out there to other people and they say, yeah, that's nice, it kind of validates that we're okay. We're doing a decent enough job. So it's always lovely to hear that other people like what we like.
Yeah, that one there, that'll blow people's socks off. 95% grain, and unbelievable. That's honestly wow. Tell me this: a couple of people asking here: is there a distributor in the UK up in Northern Ireland? Do you have one?
Yeah, we're always looking for good distributors. So if there's anyone out there who wants to help us, that'd be good.
Yeah.
We're in talks.
There's nothing definite yet in the north. You can get it online, of course, shipped there. We can ship it there, but hopefully soon.
Yeah.
Give it time.
No, because loads of these guys love it. I'll tell you, Jim, the whiskey novice here. He and I both work up in the Friend of Han in Belfast, and if you ever come up, you'll have to get a run in round to see the new tasting room. But Willie has this vision. He wants Ulster whiskey, Leinster whiskey,
that's a cool.
Munster whiskey, and Connacht whiskey.
Yeah.
The problem is rent pretty much Connacht. You guys are addressing this.
Yeah.
The distilleries down in Galway, which is one of the most beautiful. All of Ireland is beautiful, but Galway's
spectacular.
It is spectacular. Where exactly is Ahascragh?
It's just, if you know Ballinasloe, it's just 10 minutes north of Ballinasloe.
How far away from Galway town?
We're about 30 minutes from Galway.
So we're literally off the motorway from Dublin to Galway. We're 10 minutes off the motorway.
You're on the main Dublin-Galway motorway, the M6. 10 minutes, come off the Ballinasloe exit, and we're just 10 minutes.
There.
You're 10 minutes away from Ballinasloe.
Yeah.
People watching this in Canada aren't 100% sure where Ballinasloe is. If they've Galway, they can kind of take it from there.
Canadians would drive from us to Galway without thinking about it, but we wouldn't because it's too far. Listen, guys, are you coming up with Belfast Whiskey Week?
We are.
We were there last year too.
Yeah, a couple of people were saying they were chatting to you and were having a really good time. They were asking to make sure you're coming back.
Oh, very good. Yeah, the crack was great. People were so
great,
lovely.
Great few days there.
When the distillery opens, is there a visitor centre? Can people put their head in and say hello?
Yeah. More the merrier.
We have a cafe and shop there on the site now, which is
already
all open.
Yeah, it's open.
People can come and they can from May we'll be doing tours, so people can come and I'll do a tour, get a bite to eat, hopefully buy something. Be a good experience. And it's an old mill, and one part of the mill complex is a 4-story building, and it's all original buildings and stone. It's protected structure. The whole site was a restoration project overseen by the conservation officer here in Galway.
So did you have to jump through the hoops that Titanic had to jump through, even though you were bringing back a disused building?
Yeah, I felt their pain.
We heard the interview last week, and
I felt their pain.
We could definitely exchange notes on that. But we're nearly there.
So we basically built a building in a building. So the old walls and structure are still all there. The beautiful stonework. We weren't allowed to touch any of that, which was great because it's gorgeous. You wouldn't want to. So then we put the building inside of it.
Yeah. So, but that it's also it's over 250 years old. It was the main kind of mill for the surrounding East Galway area at the time. It employed a lot of people, but it ran completely sustainable. There's a mill race or a river that runs down the mill complex, and they had 2 large water wheels that powered the whole operation. So part of our ethos is sustainability, and one of our key values. So this is a distillery that is going to be an eco distillery. We're not burning anything on site to power our process. We're taking in renewable electricity. We're generating 30% on site ourselves between hydro and solar power. And the rest is bought in wind power. So
excellent.
And the first Oosh, this brand Oosh is all about sustainability. That's 100% recycled glass. All the labels, it's all recycled paper. Even the wooden stopper and cork is obviously a sustainable material. The seal at the top is not plastic. That's a vegetable cellulose, so that biodegrades quite quickly. But the first liquid from Ahascragh will flow into this brand, and that'll be like zero emission from an energy perspective liquid. So.
Congratulations, well done. You know, everything you say about the whole brand, everything you're trying to do. The liquid is superb that you're doing now. Absolutely fantastic. Fantastic, and congratulations.
Come and visit us and show you around.
Yeah. Oh no, don't worry. I'll come down and I'll even bring Justin.
Good.
Oh, there's a cafe. I'll definitely come.
Oh, wait, if there's a cafe, Justin will be there. Don't worry about that.
Good on you. We'll look after you.
Oh no, we'll have to get down and run, and we'll get videoing around, and who knows, we might even run a wee tour bus down and bring some of the guys down with us. You never know.
That would be lovely. We'll look after you.
So the distillery, rough date of opening for tours?
May.
End of May, yeah.
End of May.
Yeah.
The stills are going to be up and running.
Hopefully
April.
Next month. That's next month.
Is it? Yeah. We're near. Yeah.
Nearly there.
Nearly there.
Well, whenever the first liquid flows through, get a video, get something, and let us see it and send it up to us, because it's a big deal whenever that clear liquid comes running down through the spirit safe for the first time. And I know you guys will be.
Yeah,
I mean, such a long journey all the way from Hong Kong.
Yeah,
to go away. I mean, it's a hell of a story.
Yeah.
Are you going to have a rest once you get going then, or does the hard work begin now?
A rest? What's the rest? What does that mean?
No, our goal after this is to get this in everyone's hands around the world. So that's going to be fun. That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
But that's the part that we actually enjoy doing.
Yeah. We'll be a long time dead, so we might as well keep going now.
I do love that saying. I love that saying. You're a long time dead. May as well make the most of it now.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I don't think I'll probably get down before Belfast Whiskey Week, but I'll be there for Belfast Whiskey Week.
Okay, well, let's catch up with you
guys. And any of the guys, anybody watching tonight, I promise you now that if you weren't lucky enough to get sent a sample of this. The mystery bottle, that'll blow your socks off. Will genuinely blow your socks off how good that is. I am confused, kerfuddled, and dumbfounded by 95% grain.
But in a good way.
Oh, absolutely. I don't put it like this. I thought to myself when you said that, oh my good God, I know nothing. And then Jim come on and he said basically the same thing. So I thought, thank God. If Justin had come out with it, I wouldn't really cared that much.
He would have said I was guessing.
Guys, honestly, you have a great range of products. You have a really, really lovely design on the front of the bottles. That lovely clean white, beautiful bird thing. The nice lettering and so on and so forth. I mean, what can go wrong? What could possibly go wrong?
Fingers crossed. Let's not jinx it now. Yeah.
Well, quick question.
Yeah.
The stills.
Yeah.
You've a quite an unusual shape still. You've explain the still setup here.
Oh, well, okay. So what you're probably referring to in the background is the gin still. So that's in the background there. That's a 1,000-liter gin still. The front still is our spirit, so that's our smallest still. That's 5,500 liters. But before that, there's two other stills. There's the wash still and the intermediate still, which I don't think you have a picture of. They're 7,500 liters each. So
what's going to be your output in a year? In terms of LPA, roughly.
On like days, 5 days, we'll be doing about 500,000 LPA. But we hope within the next 3 years to get that to 1 million, million plus.
Excellent. Somebody's just asked, what's the mystery whiskey going to be called? Clancola
13.
Clancola 13. There you go.
It's a 13-year-old, and it'll have it's a blend, so it'll have that on it.
Same as the.
It'd be labeled like the 11-year-old,
just with the.
With 13 and other things on it, but it's the exact same look as the 11-year-old.
Yeah. That blew that I'm drinking it now, and honestly, that's superb. That's just good.
I have to start raising the price.
Hey, no, whoa.
Let us buy it first before you raise the price.
That was pounds. That wasn't euros. Yeah, that was pounds.
Leave it out for 6 months, and then you can raise the price of it after I buy about 40 bottles of it. That's a superb drink. It really is, and it's a credit to you all. We'll have to get a day out organised for this, Justin.
Please visit us.
And we'll come down. But do take a video of the spirit running through the stills. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
So much
and
for having us.
more power to you. And congratulations on all you've done.
Thank you. And you guys take care. And you're doing a great job. Thoroughly enjoyed the show.
Oh, thanks very much. Thank you very much.
Mind yourself. Take care.
Take care. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Should we call it a night tonight, Marty? Shall we? Bye, everybody. Same time, same place next week. YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitch, Telegram, and Twitter. Catch you again soon.